This week on Performance TV, Kathy shows us the easiest way to deal with rust. Tommy shows us how to prevent exhaust leaks, and later, Tommy and Kathy install a crate muffler on their '73 Camaro project car. Today on Performance TV.
Welcome to another edition of Performance TV. Well, if you're a fan of the show, more than likely you want to restore a car or rebuild one. We have two options. You can start off with a brand new reproduction body like this. It's all shiny, new, no rust, looks great, makes your job a lot easier, but more than likely, you're going to start off with an old rust bucket. A car that's been sitting out in the open, going to have to restore it. It's going to be a little bit of work, and it's not going to look very good when you start. Well, I'm with David Harris, Evaporust. Now, David, I know your product really well. Evaporust is a great product, removes the rust. Tell the folks a little bit about how it works, what the process is.
Sure, Tommy. Evaporust is a non-toxic, non-corrosive rust remover. It has no acids, no bases. It's pH neutral. It's safe on your skin, safe on your eyes, and it's safe on your parts. It works by absorbing the rust out of the iron and leaves the metal underneath completely alone.
You know, normally Evaporust, you'd take a part off your car, you would put it in like a bath of Evaporust, let it sit, pull it out, the rust is gone. But we've got a complete car here. We're going to restore frame, body parts. How is that going to work with Evaporust? We can't dip this car, the frame, into a bucket.
No, the old 68 Malibu is not going to be dipped, I don't think. It is an easy little setup that we've come up with. Basically, instead of giving it a bath, we're giving it a shower. We're going to take a pump like this from a home goods store, rubber hose, shower head, just a cheapo shower curtain. Talking about maybe $80 worth of equipment here. Then we're going to squirt Evaporust onto an area, let it drain back down, recirculate. We'll clean one area. Once that area is clean, we'll move it over to the next area.
Right. Now, this is really cheap compared to sending your car out and have it sandblasted or sending it out and having somebody bead blast it. We're not going to use any hardened chemicals that we might splash and get them on something. You can do this in your garage at your own leisure, at your own time, and it's simple and easy and cheap.
That's exactly right. And it just makes doing something like this more your process. You get to see every little part cleaned to your specification because you're doing it. All we need to do now is just turn the pump on and do a demonstration of it.
It's actually going to put it back to new looking condition and take all this rust and remove it.
That's exactly right. It's a safe, simple method of doing it. And as long as you've got time and a little bit of patience, I've seen people do entire undercarriages of cars from the 70s. It's a really good method of doing this.
And this removes rust from virtually anything.
Yes. Any surface we've got rust on, this will take the rust off of it.
How much time will this chemical keep taking rust off?
This chemical will absorb 1/2 pound of rust per gallon. That is a lot of rust. If you scraped all the rust off this that we're looking at right here, you wouldn't have over 1/2 pound.
All we're going to do is let this sit. It's going to take a little while. How long do you think it'll take?
It'll take overnight.
Right. We'll let this sit overnight. When we come back, we'll take a look, see what it come out.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan, you know, with all the things that you've been doing and all of your research, and, you know, you've been looking at some stuff on the internet, and it's on the internet, it has to be true. Tell us about some of the wonderful things you found.
Oh, you know, we found some just incredible octane booster recipes on the internet. Some of my favorites are transmission fluid mixed with toluene and mineral oil, which I can't imagine a modern fuel injection system would like that too much. Some other good ones were mothballs, which is kind of a funny one because back in the 40s and 50s they were made out of naphthalene, which actually is an octane booster, and putting it in your gas tank back then probably made sense. It doesn't now. But we've also seen some other oddities like adding diesel fuel 50-50 to your gasoline engine. I don't recommend any of these options.
You know, folks are looking to add some more octane. Can you ever have too much?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Not only are you creating a very expensive smoke, but on a dyno, if you over-octane an engine, you'll actually see a degradation in performance. So the goal is not to have too much and not to have too little.
Now, David, we've had our Evaporust shower running on this frame all night, so why don't we shut the pump off and see what we got here?
You bet.
All right, here's our pump off. Now, what's the next step? Just pour some water over it?
We're just going to rinse it off with water. And you can see, we can wipe her down here. The rust is completely gone.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, just sitting there running on that overnight, The rust just falls off, runs back into our recycling pump.
That's right.
Rinse it off with some water, and you got a, this looks like a brand new chassis again.
It does. Once it's dry, we're going to spray it down with rust block in this area that we've already done.
Right, that'll allow this area not to rust again. We can move our shower head, go to a different area, and get the rust off another area.
That's right. We'll just move it around place to place until we've got this completely de-rusted. It's something you can do on your own time in your own garage. Easy, safe, simple. Takes about a 5-gallon pail of evapor rust, a little $80 setup with some at-home use pumps and hoses, and you're in the frame de-rusting business.
That's great. I mean, you don't have to take it somewhere, have somebody else do it for you, blast it, or use any unsafe chemicals in your garage area. This is plenty safe. Use it right at your home.
That's right.
Boy, Evaporust does a great job. I mean, this product really, really works. You see a lot of things like this that you just don't know if they're going to work, but I'm going to tell you what, check them out at evapo-rust.com. This stuff is great. You'll love it. We'll be back with more Performance TV after this. This thing is fabulous. I love it.
This edition of Performance TV, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. Evapo-Rust, super safe rust remover. No Limit Engineering, quality hot rod parts and engineering. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Performance TV. You know what? Ugh, not very good performance sounding there. Sounds like we've got an exhaust leak. Well, Tommy, I think he's got somebody who can help us fix that.
I'm with Robert from Stage 8 Locking Fasteners. And Robert, we put a set of headers on our Camaro here a few weeks ago, and wouldn't you know it, already we have an exhaust leak. So how's Stage 8 going to help me fix this problem?
Well, we prevent this exhaust leak from even starting. Is this a daily driver, let me ask you?
It's daily driver. It's got some, road miles on it already, and here it is, exhaust leak not very long afterwards.
Yeah. Headers are great for the extra power and all that, but you want to make sure that they don't start counter-rotating and loosening your header bolts after you put them in. So we recommend using Stage 8 locking fasteners as soon as you install a header.
Yeah, right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go. Today's header companies are exhaust experts, but they're not experts on fasteners.
That's true. I mean, they know the exhaust, but you are the expert at keeping them attached to the car, keeping them tight, and not getting the exhaust leak like we hear on this car.
That's exactly right. We can prevent even that first degree of counter-rotation. And only 5 degrees of counter-rotation costs you 50% of your clamp value. All of a sudden, you're blowing header gaskets, and you're doing what we're doing today.
Well, explain to me, how does it keep from backing out? How does it lock itself?
Sure. We put a groove in the top of the bolt here. Okay, the bolt goes in and it gets torqued to spec. We have a variety of locking retainers. They're engine specific. So if you have a small block Chevy, we know what retainer goes on there. But the retainer goes over the head of the bolt just like a box end wrench, right up against the tube of the header. And then an E-clip will keep that down. So it cannot counter-rotate because it's mechanically locked.
Yeah, the bolt can't loosen up because it's up against the header and doesn't allow it to move.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Now you notice here we have what we call a double hex head. This will make it easy so that you can use a 3/16 ball Allen to spin in those hard to reach ones, and then of course just torque it from the outside.
Yeah, if you can't get in there with a wrench, you can do it with the Allen, get it in there.
Some of them get really tough to get into.
You've kind of thought of everything, huh?
We have, and we've been doing this now for 30 years. We've sold our 19 millionth kit without a single reported failure.
Well, better get busy. We got some work to do.
Let's do it.
Well, Robert, I took all the old header bolts out, put a new gasket in, cleaned everything up, and started some of these Stage 8 bolts in here. I got one to go, and then we're ready to put the locking mechanisms on them, correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right, well, I'm gonna put this last one in here in this hole. Now, what I like that you have the Allen head in there, and you can put them in tight spaces. But what if you have a tight tube and maybe you need a stud and a nut? Do you have the same type of device for nuts?
Yeah, Tom, we actually do the same thing with a nut. We put a groove around the nut, and it works just like our locking header bolts. So you can put your nut on your studs and lock them just the same way.
Yeah, either way, you run a stud or a bolt.
That's correct.
All right, I'm ready for a lock.
Ready for that retainer?
Yep.
There you go.
All right, slide this on. It won't quite go. It's close.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's offset 3.5 degrees, just like a box end wrench, so why don't you flip it over and put it on the other side, see if it'll fit that way.
All you gotta do is simply flip it over.
That's it.
It fell right on.
Perfect.
All right, now I need the retaining ring.
Here's your clip. And an easy way to put those on is with a pair of needle nose pliers, because you can put one side right into the center of that double hex head and the other side on the clip. That's how it goes.
I like the sound of that. Snapped right in there.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, 2 more, and we got this baby wrapped up.
All right, let's do it.
Now this one has to be, it's gonna stop on the bottom of the tube, right?
Yep.
All right, flip it over, see if it goes that way. Oh, easy. I like that flip over part.
There you go.
Put the clip in the groove.
You look like you've done this before.
Well, you know what, Robert? I should have done this in the first place.
Well, I was never going to tell you that, Tom.
It's been a lot easier doing this once instead of twice.
There we go. But I'll tell you what, you will not have to change this gasket again. These cannot rotate now.
And one more clip and we got this. They are pretty easy to put on with these snap ring pliers. Or needle nose. Look at that.
There you go.
I guess we're ready to fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. Kathy, hit the key. Let's hear it.
Much better.
Well, Robert, that thing sounds a lot better, and it's going to stay that way thanks to Stage 8 locking fasteners. And did you tell me you got some new news coming up?
We have some very incredible news coming up. We're going to announce right about the start of race season involving some of the highest quality header manufacturers out there and, of course, Stage 8 locking header bolts.
Wow, can't wait to hear that. But right now, we got to take a break. We'll be back with more Performance TV right after this.
Performance TV, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Performance TV. Over the past few weeks, we've made a lot of modifications to our 73 Camaro project car, one of them being the BMR torque arm suspension system we put on it. That caused a problem with our stock exhaust system. It didn't allow it to fit back here. So what we've had to do is we've had a custom exhaust pipe made for it. We got one on each side. We made this to fit into this Camaro with all the suspension modifications that we had to do to the car. But what we need is a muffler. We want this thing to sound really good. So we decided to check in with Borla Exhaust and see what they have. They have a brand new line of mufflers called the Crate Muffler. It's going to make this thing sound good and make it really rumble. So let's just check in with Kathy and learn a little more about the Crate Mufflers.
Alex Borla, thanks so much for joining us. So many people nowadays are putting in crate motors in their vehicles, and not just a Ford crate motor in a Ford or a Chevy in a Chevy. I mean, they're swapping things around. You never know what you might find underneath the hood.
You're absolutely right. You know, there's a lot of diversity today, a lot of purpose-built chassis by some very renowned chassis builders. And people have the liberty of putting anything into anything on the world.
Right.
For the last 50 years, muffler shops have been installing mufflers on every type of car known to man, regardless of what engine, what platform, what chassis. And as the owner of the car, you kind of took your best shot at what combination you wound up with. And if you wound up with a muffler that didn't exactly sound right, you just had to live with it.
And you've come up with something brand new, something great on the drawing board.
We basically try to find a way of giving the owner some assurances what his sound is going to be like. And we are in the process, and we've developed a line of mufflers that fit specific engines.
Instead of a system fitting the car, the muffler is matched to the engine. Like with our 73 Camaro here, you know, our 350, I mean, you guys have something that's tuned right for the sound of this motor.
Absolutely. You actually get the benefit of a purpose-built exhaust system, because the muffler really is the determining factor what these cars sound like. And we have not only built and designed one sound level for a specific crate motor, but we actually have two. So if your tastes are a little different, you want to be a little more subdued,
right,
you can have a S-type. If you really want an aggressive one, you can have a real attack system. But these mufflers are specifically matched to the specific crate motor that you're putting in a car.
So it's not a system, it is the muffler. And you're going to be taking these, say, to a shop and have them custom bend a system to go with this muffler.
Yeah, I mean, this is for the serious car builder, really. You know, if somebody goes to the trouble already swapping motors in a car, okay, there's quite a bit of changes that go into that car. We basically supply a blank, a muffler blank. And that muffler blank basically is available in a variety of different configurations as far as inlets and outlets are concerned.
Okay.
It accommodates all the different frames and chassis.
So we can go from 2.5 to 3-inch type systems by the time we're done?
Correct. They'll be available in both.
Okay.
Center in, center out, center in, offset, and all the various different configurations, different lengths to accommodate the various chassis.
Okay.
But in every single instance, they will be paired and matched to the crate motor.
It's awesome thinking. And just like any other Borla muffler, 3 or 4 stainless.
Absolutely, the best there is.
Well, of course, and that's all we want for our 73 Camaro, and I cannot wait to get over here and get with Tommy and get this thing finished up. Alex, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Now we get to do the really fun part, and we'll have that and more coming up next here on Performance TV. Thank you so much, Alex. Really appreciate it.
This edition of Performance TV, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Advertising Edge, custom branding solutions and promotional products. Redline Loomtronics, home of the classic car Halo headlight. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
Welcome back to Performance TV. Tommy, it was something that Alex and I were talking about over here just a moment ago, and you already figured it out. These crate mufflers from Borla, they are directional.
Yeah, a lot of mufflers, it doesn't matter which way you install them. These are directional. It's in and out.
Yes. And
slide that one on in.
we'll
I got the
slide
other
it
one
on in. Yes, they've been doing a nice job over here.
Well, you know, it's a nice little exhaust system. It's going to get up out of the way of our suspension products, go up over the rear end and get it out the back of the car. One of the things Alex Borla mentioned to me was a lot of guys build an exhaust, but they stop it in front of the rear end housing. Well, all the exhaust gases that come out of your exhaust, well, they will corrode all the bolts, all the nuts back here in the back of the car, and then you can't get them off. So we're going to go over the rear end and out the back.
Yes, we are.
All right, how are we doing up there? You got a little ways to go. Come on.
A ways.
There you go. That looks good. All right, let me slide this tube in back here over the rear end housing, and then...
You know, Tommy, like all Borla mufflers, their crate mufflers are made out of 304 stainless steel austenetic, which has superior corrosion resistance. And even though this car probably won't be outside in a lot of stuff, if your car is, that's going to make this muffler last a lot longer. Get that tail on there and adjust that. Now, the one that we chose to go with the crate muffler from Borla, Alex and I were talking, they're going to have their S-type sound and their attack tones. Well, we went with the S-type on this one for our 350 crate muffler.
Kathy, I can get that on there, and then we'll slide it back and put our hangers on.
Okay.
A bit more. Right there, looks pretty good.
Okay, I'm going to shimmy this out.
So I'll slide that back a little bit.
All right, take this off just for a second. And shimmy her back.
A little more. And her.
Got it?
A little more, just a hair more.
Oh, just a hair.
There we go.
Getting it?
Okay, back forward.
Okay. Almost there. Done?
There.
Now we need to do is tighten these up.
Here, why don't you tighten the clamps up, and I'll put this hanger on. It's up here.
You know what?
There we go.
I don't like where I'm putting that.
Oh, you got it on upside down.
I don't have it on upside down.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta put it up there. See, that's what I'm worried about.
There you go.
See? That's what I'm worried about. Right there, it's gonna fall through. Okay.
Give me a wrench there, Muscles.
You know, Borla is always coming up with something new, and when I heard about the new crate mufflers, starting right off with the one for the 350, probably one of the most popular small blocks you're going to find anywhere. I cannot wait to hear this because Borla has tuned these mufflers to go with the engine, and they're paired right together. It's actually pretty darn neat.
It is, very cool.
Okay, so is everything else we've done to this car.
Yeah, let's drop this baby down and let's hear it roar.
Wow.
If you're going to work on your car, you're more than likely going to need it up in the air. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can use a lift and lift it up in the air, but the problem with the lift is a lot of shops don't have room for them, and The other problem, you can't take it with you. Well, on this show, we've got a solution to that problem. It's called the Quick Jack by Ranger Products. It's a division of BenPack. And Kathy, this is a really neat unit because you can only use it to raise your car in the shop. Wherever you go, you can lift your car up off the ground and work on it.
Well, you know what? They're nice and easy to use, and we're going to show that right now. What do you say we go ahead and jack this car up over here?
All right, Kathy, got them all hooked up down here.
Just these two to plug in, and we'll be ready to lift this car.
Put these hoses into our pump. That's one thing I like about this. It's very portable. Quick disconnects make it real easy to plug them in.
And you can use hydraulic fluid, or we've chosen to use tranny fluid in here. So,
All right, hit the button. Let's do this.
ready to go.
Our jacks are going up, and up goes the car. You know what's really cool is they've thought of everything. Once the car gets up in position, there's two different locking systems, higher or lower. Keeps the car from falling down on you.
As you've noticed, they've got it so it's lifting evenly too, not one side more than the other, which
Right.
can be dangerous.
Got an equalizing pump right here.
Yeah, we're just about up.
Yeah, once we get it up, I'll slide underneath there and put the locks in place.
That's right, because it does have the locking mechanisms. What do we say this went up? About 22 inches
Yeah,
for its
22
max?
inches. Yeah. It's going to give us a lot of room for you to work on this thing. Very cool. All right, nice job. Let me get it.
The lock into place.
All right.
Yeah, see, no, don't have to worry about the jack stands. We didn't have the floor jack moving it around. And we can put these things in the trailer. We can hang them up somewhere.
And Kathy, they store easily. Just when you're done with them, disconnect them, put them in the corner of the garage. Perfect, out of the way.
Yep, just roll them right out of the way. And then you have your own lift in your garage or at the track
That's right.
or wherever you need. You know, these things are powder coated, so they're going to last and stay looking nice for a long time, too.
Versatile, at home, or on the go.
That's right. You want to find out more, all you have to do is hop on their website, find out about the two different models, whether you need the 3,500 pound or the 5,000 pound model, Quick Jack by Ranger Products.
Yep, quickjack.com. I'm going to get me a pair.